Metro Louisville is made up of 26 districts. This podcast gives you a chance to connect with your council member and learn about what's going down in your district. Welcome back to another episode of District Download. Thank you for joining me. I'm Katrina Helmer, and in the studio today we have some amazing guests. We're going to start off with the man of the hour, Councilman Marcus Winkler with District 17. Marcus, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So go ahead, let's start. What is District 17? What area of town does this encompass for someone who might not live in your district and might not know?
Sure. District 17 is a significant portion of eastern Jefferson County. So if you think about the Kentucky Truck Plant, Tom Sawyer Park, that's sort of the heart of the district. We have the Westport Road corridor going from Brownsboro Road south down to LaGrange Road into Middletown, and then the Oldham County border roughly to Goose Creek. That roughly encompasses the district.
So as you've gotten to know your district as a councilman, what sticks out to you about what makes District 17 unique?
Sure. I think District 17 is a great place to live. We've got a number of small cities that have their own identity. We've got access to lots of great shopping and restaurants. It's accessible. We're close to the Gene Snyder, close to 64. We've got a fantastic city in Middletown that has lots of retail options. And great schools as well. So it's a great place to raise a family, great place to work, and a great place to live.
So as you've gotten settled here with Metro Council, what is it as a councilman that you enjoy or that makes you excited to come to City Hall every single time for committees or council or working for projects on your district?
So I'd say there's two things that I really enjoyed. Number one is the process of creating legislation and really taking legislation that maybe doesn't have broad support, sitting down, working with people from different backgrounds, different sides of the political aisle, and taking legislation that then most or everyone can support. And I think that is really a hallmark of success, is when you can identify legislation that makes everybody happy. I think that's a win for everyone, and that's something that I really enjoy doing. In terms of in the district specifically, I'd say the thing that I enjoy most or that's most rewarding is the little things that you do day in and day out to help people that nobody ever sees. Whether it's, we had an example of somebody that, for example, had inadvertently a rental company had put their phone number on a building and on another part of town as a for information sign. And they had tried for months and months to get this issue resolved. Their phone was ringing morning, noon, and night with calls. They let us know about the issue. We made one call, and the issue was resolved. It's a small problem for a person, or in the scope of the city, it's a small problem. But for this individual, it was a significant issue and one that took 3 minutes for us to resolve, and was really happy to help.
Well, when you were talking first about programs that you like working on or legislation that fits the bill, win-win on both sides, I think that's a perfect segue to your guests actually here today. So I'm going to hand it over to you. Who do you have here for the rest of your episode?
Yes, great. Thank you. We are joined by two fantastic guests today. So they are both from Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. We have Sharon Allgaier, who is the program manager for Another Way program, which we'll be talking about today, and Kimberly Boyd Lane, who is the director of community-based career services. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
And so I appreciate you all joining us in studio today. And what we're going to talk about today is a program that I know you're very excited about, that I'm very excited about, and that is the Another Way program that we launched. We piloted last year. We've launched in an expanded pilot and really have had some fantastic results around. So Sharon, do you want to tell us a little bit about what is Another Way?
I would love to. And yes, this has been an amazing program. Another Way is what we do is we go out Monday through Thursday and we pick up participants pretty much on the corners. We can be out in areas, maybe West Louisville, we'll be out in the South, East End, and what we do is we look for people that are, wanting to ride on our van. And what I love about the program is what I found out is people are willing to come work with us, and that's a really cool thing. So throughout the week, Monday through Thursday, we pick up anywhere from 10 to 14 participants. We take them to places to work like either the fairgrounds, they'll do litter abatement, They've actually worked with Marcus Winkler down off of Westport Road. We've been out the South. We worked with Block by Block. They've done several different jobs. They love them all. They love the variety of a work. And while they're working, we give them a break. We feed them lunch. At the end of the day, we bring them back to Goodwill. We give them a $50 Visa gift card, a bus pass, all the while connecting them with resources at Goodwill. And that's the part that I love, because the connections that have been made have been amazing. We've gotten them into our soft skills classes of Good Start, Rise. We've helped them with jobs. We've helped them with substance abuse treatments, on and on. So this has been a huge success.
Yeah, and Sharon, I just want to first thank you for your passion around this program. You've been with us since the initial pilot, and the amount of energy and passion that you've put towards this is a real testament to the city and a gift to the city, and we're grateful for all of your work on it. And so just for clarity, right, these are people that are either panhandling or potentially experiencing housing insecurity. You're running a van there, offering day work. They don't have to have proof of ID, right? They don't have to have any sort of criminal background check. They have some sort of potential barrier to work, and we're offering them day work.
Yes, most of them, I would say 95% of them do have barriers. A lot of them will ask before they get on the van if they have to have an ID. They do not have to have an ID. And also what I enjoy about it is, we've learned, even through the pilot, Marcus, is when we go out, we'll be riding down the Watterson Expressway, and they'll be right on the corner with the sign, and we'll be yelling at, "Hey, you want to make $50? And the excitement, they've even thrown the sign and jumped on the van, and we tell them, all about the resources that Goodwill has to offer. We build a rapport. We have relationships with them. They can ride on our van up to 5 times, and we kind of do the 5 times because when you think about it, I want to build that relationship with them. I kind of want to get to know them, and before, it'll take 1, 2, 3, 4 times. The next thing you know, all right, Miss Sharon, I'll get in the class. So it becomes like family. It's pretty cool.
So Sharon, let me ask you, 'cause when we started initial pilot, I had some preconceived notions around what the response was going to be from the people that you were going to offer, right? I had the expectation that these might be people who are not interested in working, and that you'd be driving around all day making this offer to people and be turned down left and right. But I think we found something else to be the case, right? Do you want to talk a little about it?
Yes, that is not happening. And the pilot started off, and I'm like you, I was like, okay, is this going to work? And so when the pilot started, COVID was going on, and so we had it to where we could only, limit the van to 3 participants. The van was always full. Actually, word gets around on the street, hey, Goodwill's doing, so we have had even now such a huge response, and we can put 10 to 12 participants on the van, and now we have it to where there's times we've got to pick and choose who we're putting on the van. And I find this amazing. So, I'm always saying, I want to get another van, I want to hire another staff, I want to go get them, right?
And so tell me, what are some of the things that people say, so when they come and work for the day? I know we did, in the initial pilot, we did some qualitative research as well, right? And asked them sort of what they enjoyed about the program, or why did they come and work today? What were some of the things that we heard from the participants?
Well, some of the responses were that, we've heard this, we had no idea that there were this many resources. And also, when they come to Goodwill, and if you think about it, they're on the van, they're meeting other people that are in the same situations. So when we bring them to Goodwill and we connect them to the services, they begin to feel like it's a family, and it becomes emotional. And just to see, I'll say this, last week we had one participant that rode with us several times, and he said, all right, I'm ready to go to treatment, and we just drove him on over to treatment. So we've seen lives being changed, is what it is.
Yeah, I remember from one of the initial surveys, one of the respondents, we had asked, why did you come work today? And his response was, I wanted to be of service.
Yes.
Right? And I think that was really powerful and certainly stuck with me. So,
one of the questions is, we asked them, how did the work today make you feel? To me, that's one of the most powerful questions. And the response is, it made them feel important. It made them feel like they were doing something good. And that's how it gets started. is that.
Well, I think that's a perfect segue, Kimberly, that I want to shift gears a little bit and talk to you a little bit about some of the results that we've seen and the reason that people are out there. And can you talk a little bit about the results that you shared last week with the Budget Committee in terms of the number of people who served and how we've connected them with service?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it's been so remarkable to see so many of the unhoused individuals with those visible needs and taking this different approach to filling those gaps in the labor market by letting individuals use their natural talents and see that, hey, wait a minute, there is an opportunity for me to still come out of where I am. So far since the inception of the program, we have served up to 200, I think at the last count it was 295 individuals successfully participated in the program. Those are unduplicated numbers. 110 or so have gotten connected to some resources that addresses their immediate needs, such as IDs, Social Security cards, getting connected to food stamp benefits, Medicaid. We've placed 49 either into temporary or permanent housing opportunities. 19 of those have gone into employment with full-time employment with benefits. And so when you look at the impact in just such a short time frame, like Sharon was indicating that, you know, they want to participate, but there are just some barriers that are there right now. And being able to go to them where they are, and then we're finding partnerships and collaborations in the community that says, hey, we got some people over here, and they're calling us now saying, how can we help you with those resources, or how can we be of a referral source when we see someone and say, hey, there's a program here. And so we're really excited about where it's going and where we hopefully see it go in the future as far as impacting Louisville as a whole.
Yeah, I just want to kind of draw a line under those numbers because I think they're so critically important and such a great story, right? So roughly 300 unique individuals, right? Some of those people have ridden the van multiple times. So you've done more than 300 individual trips.
Yes.
But 300 unique individuals, almost 60 of them have been placed into housing, right? I mean,
almost 60 of them have been placed into housing. And so when you look at that percentage of individuals, no matter what, their life has changed. That impact has we were able to break that cycle of despair. You know, and I think that that's what we are charged to do as a community, to go out and find those who are lost, you know, and if each one can reach one, and what we're finding is that word of mouth that Sharon was talking about, it's really happening. And so people are calling saying, hey, I'm in this situation, but I really want to work today. Can I do that? We had individuals who went to the work site for that work-based learning opportunity. They came for $50, worked 3 days. The manager at the expo, seen how hard they were working, saw their work ethic, their commitment, asked them to apply. They went on and applied, and now they have full-time employment, stable employment, doing something that they love at the Kentucky Expo Center. That, to me, they never would have applied for that position because they wouldn't have known about it. They never would have had that opportunity to get that face one-on-one time with that supervisor because they wouldn't have been in the position. The worksite supervisor didn't look at what they looked like because, you know, of course, they're coming out unhoused. And so they have their vest on. We have their, you know, our traffic vest on and everything like that. But, you know, they saw the heart of the individuals and said, I can give you an opportunity because you've proven that you could do the work and that you're a hard worker. That, to me, is the most beneficial out of all of it. We've had veterans come through that found themselves, you know, for whatever reason, whether it's mental health. We've had to refer, I think it was probably about 25 or so, to mental health services directly right there in the center. And so what we have done at Goodwill is try to make a one-stop kind of shop place where you can come in and there are things available, resources available to meet you and to provide the resources that you need at that moment.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I think 19 people into permanent employment, right? I mean, those are remarkable numbers, because when we know that people working, people in stable housing, those are the foundations to changing lives, and the fact that we're able to do that through this program, I think, is really incredible. And we know through the statistics we've got some areas of opportunity, right? I think we found something around the type of individuals and who is taking advantage of this service, and some of the challenges that they've had in their backgrounds. I don't know if you want to touch on some of those findings.
Yeah, so some of the findings and some of the challenges that we've faced as individuals who have what we would consider a criminal history. And so they may not be able to pass a background check right now and immediately with an employer. We can connect them to employers who are second chance employers. We've had individuals who've had mental health issues, and so we can connect them to those resources with those mental health that will provide medication. We've had individuals who have been able to get their medication, have gotten on a routine, and then they are assigned a coach that walks alongside them continually. 35 of the candidates have gone on into some of our training opportunities, which have gotten them other incentives that are available, which has also gotten them a career coach for life. So that means no matter how long they're working, or if they fall off the track, they still have someone that's there that's checking up on them, connecting them to those resources, removing those barriers, or giving them a roadmap for them.
Yeah, Kimberly, I think that's such a critical point, and it's one of the things that I've observed in my role in terms of all of the programs that we have as a city and as a community. Right, there are lots of resources available to people, but sometimes when you're in crises, you might not be in the best state to identify what are all of those services that are available, and the fact that we've got, as you call it, a coach available to sort of help quarterback access to those resources and help, I think is critical, and is certainly something that we as a city and as a council, as we consider where we're putting our dollars on a go-forward basis, making sure that we're investing in those types of resources, I think is critically important, because ultimately what we're trying to do is solve a problem. And I think if we can connect people with services that allows them to become self-sufficient, allows them to get gainful employment, allows them to find stable housing, I think that's the best money that we can spend as a city.
Yes, sir. And then understanding that the unhoused population, or the definition or the narrative, needs to change. Because COVID put a lot of individuals in positions that they were not expecting to be in. And so when you're looking at that, we have individuals who have degrees that we have found. We've had individuals with educational and credentials, but we picked them up in the homeless camp.
Right. That's exactly right. I mean, almost everybody that we've picked up has at least a high school diploma, right?
68% of the people that we picked up had a high school diploma or GED, and it's not like that was a surprise, but it was kind of a surprise. It's like, well, and not everyone was strung out on drugs. That's a misconception. And so changing the narrative to say, if it wasn't for grace, it could be us, number one. And then what can I do to help? And I think it's better to give a hand up instead of a hand out. Yes, giving them $1 right now while they're standing there holding the sign saying, we'll work for food. Well, okay, you're going to work for food? Guess what? You can come on and go to work with us, and we're going to feed you, and we're going to pay you. We're not going to just ask you to work and give you a meal. We're going to give you opportunities. And so you have an opportunity to come out from where you are, but there's no judgment if you don't want to.
And Kimberly, we're going to come back to that point about the handing money out the window, because I think that's a key point we're going to wrap up with. That's a component of the Another Way program that we've not yet implemented locally, and we're going to close on that in just a few minutes. So we'll put a pin in that for now, and,
Yes, sir.
and come back to that one. I do want to shift gears back to Sharon and talk a little bit, Sharon. I know you have, you're on the van with these folks, right? You're interacting with them directly. Do you have any specific success stories that come to mind that you want to share with the audience that, people that you've connected with, that you've helped and sort of that stick with you?
Yes, we've had several. And I kind of wanted to talk about how we connect with the individuals. So in the morning when we get them, on the van and we're driving to the location of where we're going to work, we kind of like set, I call it the ground rules. and we'll get this conversation going, and ask them questions, and it's really cool because then they'll start talking, and we bring up, we kind of ask them their background, so what kind of skills do you all have? What do what do you like to do? And then the big old discussion starts on the van, and it kind of helps us. And just like Ken was talking about Freedom Hall, one of our participants that was on the van enjoyed the work at Freedom Hall. And the reason why, if you work at Freedom Hall, Broadband Arena, the work it's always different. They may be cleaning seats. They may be putting up the stadiums for the cheerleading competitions. I mean, really, if you think about it, it's fun. And one of the guys goes, "I'd really love to work here." So next thing you know, we contacted Freedom Hall. They come down and interview them on the spot. And we've had several of them get hired like that. So they're finding what they love to do, and we're getting that information from them also as well. We placed a couple of them in manufacturing companies, and the employers love them. I mean, we take them, we drive them directly over to the company. They take them on a plant tour. Next thing you know, they just hire them. They start them the following week. And the jobs are paying pretty good. I mean, $14, $15 an hour. And so those are a few of our success stories.
I think that's great. And I think, we know we've got a major labor shortage currently. And so I think that, part of this too requires an understanding from employers that maybe somebody has made mistakes in their past, right? But we need to provide an opportunity for people to contribute, put those mistakes behind them. If they've served their time, they've re-entered society, then they shouldn't be ostracized from any opportunity to contribute on a go-forward basis, right? And I think both of your experience would say that these are people that can and should be given an opportunity and can be productive and
Yes, it's an untapped population because of self-imposed barriers, and I understand it. I understand why we were hesitant sometimes. However, if we're really talking about reducing recidivism, and we're really talking about giving individuals opportunities, those second chance employers have found, in the report that I've been doing this work for years, working on opportunities for second chance. And what I've gotten feedback from the employers is that they're on time, they're committed, they're hardworking. They don't have to worry about some of the office or workplace petty stuff that goes on because they are enjoying the opportunity. I myself, in some of my programs, I've had opportunities to give individuals a second chance. And I have found them to be the more relevant person that can assist individuals and say, listen, I know that it can be done because I'm a living testimony. And having someone who's been through it tell you that you can get through it and guide them through that, I think that's one of the strongest qualities that we have as an organization right now, and is really finding out what is it that is preventing people from moving from where they are to where they want to be.
I think that's a great message, and one that I hope all of our employers hear and consider as they're looking for labor and potentially some great employees that they can count on. Sharon, you mentioned this a little bit at the beginning. I want to just sort of shift gears back to the service area of the program. Can you talk a little bit about some of the areas that you cover and sort of what frequency we're out driving around and where the public might see you picking folks up?
Okay, yes. What I do once a month is I call it plan a route. And I will, like a Monday, we will be down, West Louisville. We may be down 28th and Broadway, come all the way down to 7th and Broadway to 2nd. The McDonald's at 2nd Street, the Thorntons at First, the Walgreens at Broadway and Brook. We picked up several participants there. Brook and Muhammad Ali, Jefferson Street, those areas. And, and then another day would probably be at the South End, New Cut Road, the Wyandotte Park area, Southwestern Parkway, New Cut Road. We'll be out maybe Grade Lane, Preston Highway on a day. We could be out Oxmoor Mall. that area one day. We'll be out Westport Road, Chamberlain Lane one day. So just different areas in different days. And in our time that we go out, it's anywhere between 10:30 and 12. So we're out there between 10:30 and 12. We actually started the program 7:30 to 9 and kind of switched it up. And just because we found out there's more participants out there between 10:30 and 12 o'clock. So, and it's been working really well.
Yeah, and so I think you covered, this huge geographic area, right? And I think that may also sort of indicate why people may not see you every day, right? Because we're currently operating just one van,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so, being able to cover all corners of the county on any regular basis is a limitation that we have today.
Yes,
right?
it is.
I know that that's one of the things that I'm focused on, and I think that my peers on council will be focused on as well, given the results that we've seen from this pilot, that we'll work with you all very quickly to find a way to expand into a second or third or beyond van so that, we can hit all of these areas where we have people with need with regularity so we can connect them with service and duplicate these results across the areas with some critical mass.
Yes.
And again, appreciate your all's partnership with that.
Yes, ideally, we would love to have a van that would leave out in the morning and had north, south, east, and west. And then we would meet up at several different locations, work-based sites in that community. So we're really looking for employers from every area or nonprofit agencies from every district to say, hey, I have an opportunity for your Another Way.
So, Kimberly, if somebody has an opportunity, who should they call to connect and volunteer a place for these people to work?
They can contact either myself at kim.boyd-lane@goodwillky.org or Sharon Algeyer.
At goodwillky.org. And what I tell people they can do is just call me directly, 502-631-2193.
And 502-298-1613. And we will pick up the phone, and we get calls all day most of the time saying, hey, we have an opportunity.
Perfect. So I want to kind of close by coming back to the thing that we put a pin in earlier, right? Which is this idea of handing money out your window, right? And really where the whole name of the program comes from, right? Because when we talk about Another Way, right? The real impetus of this, and this program is one that has been launched successfully in other parts of the country, and it's really around another way to give, right? And where we'd like to see this go eventually is it is a two-pronged approach. We run the van to the site where people have visible need and we offer them opportunity. And then we have a marketing campaign to the public, right? Where we say, here is this program, it exists, we're coming out to these sites very regularly, we're offering people this opportunity. Rather than handing money out your window, why don't you text $5 to whatever, 123 give, right? That's not what it is now, but we'll have something like that. And what they have found in cities where this has been implemented successfully is when people stop giving money out the window, they're potentially, first of all, if you're giving money out your window, you're potentially funding less than ideal behaviors, right? I mean, these are potentially people in crisis, so you may be funding a substance abuse habit, right? We know that some of these individuals are human trafficked, as an example, so you
Yes.
may be furthering human trafficking. And so I think in talking to any of our outreach workers, be it Goodwill, be it the Coalition for the Homeless, be it any of our groups, I think all would argue that probably the worst thing you can do is handing money out your car window,
Yes.
right? And so where we would love to see this program go is redirect that giving, right? Redirect that giving to a program like this where people in the public know that we've got this resource available. When you eliminate the public giving, right, then people that are there for nefarious reasons, right, people that are being human trafficked, you're eliminating the economic incentive for them to be there, and the people who actually need help are getting help through the program, and the people who are there for more nefarious reasons, let's call them, stop being there because there's no more economic incentive for them to be there.
Exactly. Supply and demand.
That's right. And I think that's where we'd like to head, right? And I think the key part for Goodwill and for the city, though, is we've got to hold up our end of that bargain by being able to consistently get a van to these locations, right? And that's
Exactly.
where
Yes.
I think this expansion we talked about is a critical pillar. And then once we've got that in place, we'll hopefully be able to launch the second pillar and make sure that those who have needs are being serviced.
As we're giving a hand up, what we're asking, and we're going to be asking, is in the marketing plan, is if you see an area that you call to let us know, here's a highly populated area, because it may not be on our radar. If you're wanting to give, once we roll out the second phase, you say, here's a card or here's a number, and they'll pass out the information to the person to say, contact Goodwill, they're going to help you, and then they will text their gift for that person or for anybody to that hashtag give. That's not it, but to that hashtag. And so I think ultimately it will be the community taking care of the community. Every person will be putting their hands to the plow to ensure that what? We're effecting change in our compassionate city. We're a city of compassion. Well, that's what we're looking for, is putting that talk in action.
Well, Kimberly and Sharon, again, I can't thank you all enough for your commitment to this program, the investment that you've made in this program. Goodwill is providing significant resources on their own to make this program successful. The money that Metro Council appropriated to this program does not cover the full costs, and Goodwill has been an outstanding partner to cover a lot of the costs themselves, and has put just not only sort of direct financial resources, but resources like Sharon and the rest of the team who have been so committed to this program, and we are grateful for it. So I want to thank both of you, thank the rest of the folks at Goodwill for your work here, the rest of the work that you do in our community. We're certainly grateful for it and better for it as a community.
And Councilman, we're really grateful for you, because being the spokesperson for the people who don't have a voice, your support is really appreciated, not only from us at Goodwill, but from the community at large. I really love the way you are committed to hearing what's not being said. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I have loved hearing about this entire time. I've just been sitting on the edge of my seat, because hearing the personal stories, but also hearing the measurable points of success and also a future game plan that is so clear, I think is just really exciting. My question is, we're talking about that next step or what you guys want for the future. Are there some points or things that you know need to happen, whether it's from Goodwill or from Metro Council side, things that need to happen in order to make that possible?
Well, first, I will say that one of the things that really needs to happen right now is we need a van. The van that we have was donated, and it's sometime it wants to run.
It's seen its better days, right?
Sometimes it doesn't. And so we have Goodwill, what we've done at Goodwill is we have gone ahead and rented a van because we didn't want the services to stop. So these are funds that are coming out of our own pocket. So what we're really looking is to securing another van operational. That was one, but then having another van to be able to pick up more individuals. The funding that we have going on right now is a tremendous resource to the people that are being served. But we're also providing coaches. We're also providing the training opportunities that are not coming out of the funds that we received, just as you said, Councilman. And so the next phase, what we're looking for is that expansion to develop another team of a Sharon, of a Stefan and Rose, another coach and another peer support, so that we can really begin to broaden the bandwidth of who we're serving.
Yeah, so if anybody's listening that has an extra 15-passenger van or two,
Yes.
right? We've got somebody that could use them. So
Yes.
please call us and let us know. But Katrina, to answer your question, I think from a Metro Council's perspective, I think the results speak for themselves. We started this as a small-scale pilot last February. We had an expanded pilot that we ran sort of later into the summer, and then now this pilot. And each one of these phases, these results have held true. right?
Yes.
I mean, you see the first results and you're like, okay, these are fantastic, but it's a really small sample size, right? And then you get some more sample size and you're like, well, they're still holding, but it almost sounds too good to be true. Well, now we've got 300 individuals, right? We've got 6 months of data, and those results have not only continued to hold, but have actually continued to improve.
Yes.
Right? And
Yes.
so I am optimistic that we will find a partner with the rest of Metro Council to fund this expansion, and that we continue to invest in programs exactly like this, where we can see meaningful input. We're helping the people that need help. We're solving a problem, and count me as a supporter first and foremost.
Oh, well, thank you so much,
Yes,
Councilman.
thank you.
That's a perfect positive note to end on. And I'm also glad that we've had so many calls to action through this podcast as well. So, to those employers that might want to be involved with you guys in helping to provide employment opportunities for a van, calling on your Metro Council members to say whether or not you believe in this project and is this something that we should continue funding for the future. I think those are all great ways now that the rest of the community can get involved. So thank you again so much to all three of you for taking over this podcast episode, and we really appreciate it, and we hope that in the future we can have another update. So thank you guys.
Forward to it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
you.
much. Thank you.